be authentic of me to begin any other way than that. That is who I am. That is my brand. I have gone into large investment banking companies. I've gone into large institutions and had them sit in circle, just like that. A lot of white men in black suits. And I always start there because that's what I stand for and that's who I am. And that's my differentiator. So with that, I just take note, if anything, any words, anything came through. Again, the first few times I've ever done anything like that, I was like, nothing, this is stupid. What is this? What time is it? That's perfect too. It's all good. It's all perfect. But what I will say before we start is a big concept and a big ideology and a big truth that we at Soul Camp and that I as an individual know to be true 100%. And this is about me owning a 7-figure business, me having 9 full-time employees, me getting a book deal, whatever it has been. And it's been a lot of great things, I always have to tap into what it feels like when I already have it. Always. I can't just, I hope, where are my clients? I need to tap into the truth of what it feels like to hit that number in the bank account, the truth of what it feels like to sign on that 3rd and 4th person. So if you take anything away from here, and I'll give you strategy and I'm going to give you tips and I'm going to give you all the things, but that is the most important thing I will say to you. You must tap into the truth of where you're going in order to get there, period. So with that, let's get into some strategy. But again, please, most important thing that you'll walk away with is that. All right, so I have everyone always tap into the future version of self in 4 years from now. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What do you have? What have you created? Right? I always look to the future before creating now because I need to know what's the North Star here. In order to create, what are we building? What is the program? What is the book? What is the brand? I need to know where we're going, right? Because where we're going needs to hold the right now, right? It also needs to hold where we're going. So when I'm creating a brand, when I'm creating a platform, when I'm creating a program, it's not just right now I'm talking about green juice and my brand is going to be green juice. Okay, do you want to talk about green juice for the next 5 years? Probably not. But what is that root that is unchangeable? I know Jennifer's on here, and we just talked about this earlier this afternoon, which is no matter what you're doing, and I have clients all the time that are like, I do this, but I also do this, and I also do this. I'm all over the place. Anyone ever feel that way? I do so much. Yes, and there is a common denominator. There is an umbrella that holds it all. And so that's what I help people really get to, and hopefully what you'll be able to get to in this session today. So when we're talking about branding, I'm just going to give you a little bit of kind of foundational strategy here, which is everything matters, right? So no matter if you own a company like I do, right? My company is Soul Camp. It encapsulates who I am. I'm very campy, tie-dye, let's go, bounce houses. But I'm also deeply soulful. I'm both. It holds both. If I was just presenting myself as soul love, it would not hold all of me. Soul Camp, if it was just camp, it wouldn't hold all of me either. The brand, and if you're a personal brand or if you're a business that has employees and has a lot of practitioners under you, it needs to hold who you are. Right? The reason that people are coming to you, wanting to work with you, wanting to engage with you or your company, your services, your offerings, is because of who you are. We are social, emotional creatures. We are not trees. We want to work with people we feel connected to. We want to work with people who we enjoy. We want to work with people that we can feel who they are. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, so the reason that people are going to want to work with you, hire you, join your team is because of you. So getting in touch with, well, who am I? What am I here to bring? Be it through financial assistance. Is it just the financial guidance? No, it's probably freedom. It's probably ease. It's probably calm. You are such a joy, right? You are such a light. So that aspect of you bring the light in the room, like that blast of light, that needs to be part of the brand, right? We're all who we are as human beings, not just by coincidence, right? If you are someone who shows up in the room as depth and like soaked with God, great, create a brand around that feeling. If you're someone who shows up in the world as like magic and pop and color, great, create a brand around that. Jennifer, I know Jennifer, you're on here and you're gonna hear this again, but I always use this example. I once had a consult call with a life coach, and she was awesome. She was like New York City, born and bred, Bronx raised, like in your face, cursed on the call, like the type of life coach that I would hire for myself. Like, Michelle, get off the couch, enough with the emotional eating, like enough. Like that's how she showed up. And I was like, you're amazing. You're amazing. Why aren't you filling your programs? You're amazing. Why aren't you getting the clients? Like, you're awesome. And I go to her website. Let's check it out. And it was like, oh, namaste. I'm like, who is this? Because this is not this person, right? So often in whatever field you're in, whatever industry you're in, we think that we need to show up as a certain thing. Right? I own a 7-figure business. I have a bunch of employees. I'm an advertising, marketing, branding person. I come from big corporate marketing, advertising, Ogilvy and Gray. That's what I thought. But I don't show up like that at all. I show up as me. And that's where the growth has happened. So trusting that exactly who you are, whatever that is exactly what people are looking for. I teach at Fairfield University branding to the graduate students there. And I like said this like on stage, like shaking to these business school students. Who you are is who people are looking for. Not you shape-shifting and camouflaging yourself to appear like a financial advisor or like a singer-songwriter. Jennifer, I keep using you on this guy. Or like whatever. A realtor, right? Whatever your idea of what you're supposed to look like, burn that to the ground, because who you are, where you came from, what your story is, what your experience, what your all of it is for a reason. You need to present yourself authentically. Sound good? Yes, yes, everyone gets that. Great. So with that, every touch point is important. So everything matters. The words that we use create the house that we live in, right? The colors that we use, the photography style that we use, everything. So like, for instance, I use this example too. My husband always is on this website called Reddit, right? Reddit. And it's like a lot of words and dark colors. And I don't need to read to know I have landed on the wrong website. I was not looking for this website. I don't need to like dive in to be like, am I? No, like I know right off the bat. Oof, a lot of words, a lot of memes, not for me. This was wrong. We have like 3 milliseconds, I think it is, when we land on a site or when we land on an Instagram account or when we meet a person that we can psychologically take in. Does this feel good? Does this feel good? Do I feel comfortable? Is this where I'm looking for? So thinking to yourself, well, who am I as a person? How do I land? Am I the joy in the room? Am I the light in the room? Am I whatever that is for you? And there's no right or wrong. It's just who you are, right? How do I land? And then everything from that place, right? For us, soul, camp, everything is both soulful, campy, colorful, funny, right? And so no matter if you come to our website or if you come to an event or you experience me on stage or whatever, you're going to get that same exact feeling. People are going to experience me on my website. Oh yeah, same vibe. Experience me, come to my Instagram account. Oh yeah, same thing. There is an unconscious disruption, an unconscious something unconscious, like, ooh, something's wrong. Distrust is the word I'm looking for. An unconscious distrust. If I meet you and I get a feeling from you and then I go to your thing and it feels totally different. It feels like, and even if we're not able to voice that to ourselves, like, ooh, there's a feeling of, oh, how it exhibits is, oh, I'll come back to this later, or I'll check this out later. I'm not click, click, click. It's, oh, there's not, I'm not still drawn in. And that becomes, so many of us, especially I see so many of these websites, and I'm just framing websites because websites are the home, that's our storefront, right? That's everything right now in the digital world. So if I come to a website and it's just like, templated, one is just like the other, it's all stock images, I get no feeling. There's nothing. There's nothing. And if I just got such a feeling from you, seeing you on stage, listening to you on a podcast, meeting you in person, I need that same feeling to continue on. Make sense? Makes sense. Okay. So how does your brand land? How does it feel? What is the personality? How does it speak? Same thing. Words matter. A word like deep transformation has a weight to it that spark of joy does not. Even if you're saying the same exact thing. And at the end of the day, most of my clients are saying the same exact thing. Right? But who you are in the world, if you show up as like monk on the mountain, then your words need to hold that. If you show up as light in the room, then the words need to hold it. I can't come to your website. What's your name again? Chris. I can't come to Chris's website and be like weighted depth of money. Like it needs to feel like possibility, because when I see Chris, and do you guys get that? You look at Chris and it's like a spark of joy. Energy, possibility, lightness. This could actually be fun. And especially in working with money matters, that's the differentiator. Possibility, anything is possible once you invest, right? Whatever it is, right? Another thing that I always say is we don't brand, or we don't create a brand based on what you do, because a lot of people do what you do. Realtor, I have a lot of clients for realtors. It's not what you do that's the differentiator. It's who you are, that is. So we created a brand for another realtor that was all about like, here it's personal, right? Like it's like, this isn't a move. This is like a moment in your life. This isn't a house. This is a home, right? Like it's very deeply who that person was, that client. But like the whole brand was around how personal real estate is. And that might not be, your vibe, but whatever that is, it needs to be shown in colors, in fonts, in photography style, in words, right? Makes sense. So when photography style, for instance, if I have a brand that's like, come on in, take a seat, sit with me for a while. What that looks like from a photography standpoint is that it's me in my living room with a cup of coffee. That's the photo, right? Me looking right at the camera. If what I want to show you is like anything is possible, freedom in the world, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's me walking down the street, whatever. You have to really get in touch with, what does my brand stand for? How do I land? What do I stand for? How do I, want people to feel about themselves? How do I want people to feel about me? How do I want people to feel about my place in their life? That's all strategy. We don't just put the color blue because it's common. Maybe 20 years ago, but not now, in a world that's so saturated with a million other people who do the same exact thing as you. It needs to be so authentic to you. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So I said all this, how you want people to feel, right? It's all feelings based. All right, so I'm going to take y'all through a little bit. So I know this workshop is entitled Elevator Pitch, right? And we'll get there. There's a formula to like write your elevator pitch, but I would never just start with that, right? Because what that formula is I am the who, for who, dealing with what, right? It's not, and like what that needs from you is for you to get really, really clear on who are you for people. You don't just offer money guidance. You offer possibility and freedom. I mean, I would talk to you a little bit more, but like that's the vibe. Yeah, but like, that's the vibe, right? Like, money can feel lighter. Money matters can feel lighter because you're this like joy bug, right? Does that make sense? So like, it's not, I offer financial assistance like 100 other people, but through financial assistance, what do you offer? Does that make sense? Through realty, what do you offer? Through this, what do you offer? Through the modality that you are doing, what do I offer? I overheard you. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do again?
I have a mobile bar.
You have a mobile bar called, what is it
The
called?
Vintage Horse.
The Vintage Horse. I've like seen you around. Are you in Easton?
Trumbull.
You're in Trumbull. Okay. So can you just give me a little bit feedback? Like, how is the Vintage Horse seen in the world right now? Like, what is it?
It's like, how do I see it? How do I present it?
Like, how do you think that other people see what you do?
A really freaking cool thing.
Cool thing.
That's awesome.
Really creative, really unique, new, delicious.
It's food too.
It's just cocktails.
Got it.
And you travel around?
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
And it's a horse carriage?
Yeah, so it's a horse trailer that we restored to a mobile bar.
Oh my gosh. I think I follow you on Instagram. Yeah, that's right.
Celebrity.
Yeah.
Celebrity. So how are you describing? Do you mind if I put you on the spot?
No.
Okay. How are you describing like what you are? So I come to vintagehorse.com and what do I see?
You see me first,
I think
and
so.
I was very skeptical about that, because I'm like, but I'm the face of the business, and I'm usually your bartender for
Mhm.
most events. But you see this beautiful white trailer, decorated, vintage feel, and then you see cocktails, because that's what we do. So we're handcrafted cocktails, we make everything, fresh syrups, fresh garnishes, flowers.
So do you talk at all about the experience that
Mhm.
happens
Yeah.
from someone renting you?
Yeah, so that's kind of like where I do start, we create a one-of-a-kind, unique, fresh ingredient experience for your bar. And we bring a bar on wheels to your backyard or to your venue, your event. And we really create an experience at the bar. That's like kind of my
Experience at the bar.
Yeah.
So I love that. And what I'll also say is that like, not everyone is going to want a horse carriage, right? So really talking through, who are you if you want a horse carriage, right? Like I would want a horse carriage, right? For instance, so I'll talk through me. I, as the event thrower, the one who would be paying and hiring you, I want to create an experience. So there's a Donald Miller, there's a whole ideology called story brand. It's have you ever heard of story brand?
No.
It's awesome, great book, story brand. But he talks in there around your clientele, your consumer. They want to, oftentimes the mistake that we make is that we say like, we as the brand, we are the hero. I am the hero. And you, client, you are like, you're not. The client always wants to feel like the hero. You are Yoda, right? You're the guide. We as the company, or we as the brand, we're the guides to enable our clients, to enable our consumers, to enable our audience to feel like the hero. So with that, I would want to be told like, hey, Michelle, hey, event thrower, like, do you want your guests to leave being like, that was the effing coolest thing I've ever experienced? Do you want your guests to like be talking about that dinner party for the rest of their life? Do you want your guests to be like, oh my God, Michelle throws the coolest parties? That's what I would want. Like, yes, awesome, like beautiful cocktails, but it's more than that. I'm sober also. So like,
We do good mocktails.
okay, I mean, I love a good mocktail, but also it's like, it's the experience, because I'm not just getting the drinks, it's the whole thing. And so what does the whole thing mean to me as the event thrower? It means that I'm going to give everyone at my house or everyone at my party an experience they'll never forget. And they'll leave thinking I'm the coolest person. That makes me the hero. So I just want you to like switch that a little bit in your mind, like when you're thinking about copy and things, because yes, what we bring is this cool thing, but that kind of still puts you as we're the hero. Make the person who's paying you the hero.
And I think you forget as like a business owner that you talk about your brand every single day, but nobody else knows about your brand. So like for me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a horse trailer mobile bar. And I think people
Like,
know what I'm
of course,
talking about.
I don't even know what a horse trailer is.
Yeah, but you have to like really paint that picture for them of what we are. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And why it matters, not just what we are.
Why?
I mean,
Yeah.
you're a little different because like there are a million horse trailer bars and it is a little different. You are the differentiator, but what is the experience? What is the feeling of the experience? Like, I'm someone who throws, I live in Easton, I have a lot of property. I love throwing parties in my backyard. And I bring in the bounce castles and I bring it all, I'm crazy. But I would be your client because I love creating experiences for my guests. But the switch that I really want you to get, which is important, is that you enable me to throw the experience. Does that make sense?
Love that, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's just like a little bit of a different hook, but a hook that matters.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna take people through, what you being the people, is a little bit of process to get to the elevator pitch, right? A little bit of a process of like, where am I? Who are my people? What are they going through? So I'll send these slides out to everyone, so you don't need to be like furiously taking notes. I see people like furiously taking notes. Sorry, I should have said that at the beginning. I'm happy to send out these slides. But okay, so step one, I take everyone through, well, let's assess where we're at. I always say, Kristen, you've heard this from me a million times. What's the lay of the land? What's the current state of affairs? So what does your business look like right now? What does your brand look like right now? What are you seen as and known as right now? How do you content? How do you, spend your time? Just getting very, very like clear on what is reality, right? What is reality? What am I seen as? What am I known as? What am I known for? What does business look like right now? And then who are my clients? So for right now, why do they come to me? If they were to Google me, what would they Google? So great example for the vintage horse. What would I Google? I would probably not Google horse-drawn bar, right? What would I Google?
It's crazy
Mobile
'cause-
bar?
Yeah, it would be mobile bar, but a lot of people don't know that term yet,
Yeah.
because it's so new. So local bartender
Yeah,
or
say the bartending
bartending,
parties,
yeah, Connecticut bartender is a lot. Now people are hearing mobile bar more, so they are finding me more with that search.
Well, what I would say is I would Google out of the box experience for my event. I would Google like exceptional, like an extraordinary experience at for my backyard party. Not necessarily, and that's, again, like I love creating experiences. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
So when I throw a Halloween party, I wasn't Googling blow up haunted house, but whatever I Googled, which was probably what is an incredible Halloween experience for my party, and then a blow up haunted house came up, right? But I didn't even know to Google that.
Is that because, I don't know, like the whole SEO and things, but is that because they had those words on their website? Is that how it like triggers it?
Right, I was gonna ask, like, how does she pop up if you put exceptional bartender in Trumbull, Connecticut?
Yeah.
Would it be party?
It's keywords. It's keywords
Okay,
in your
okay,
SEO.
okay.
Yeah. So that is not my expertise.
Yeah,
Melissa on my team, that is her expertise. I know nothing, but I know that Melissa goes in during the copywriting process or goes into your existing website copy and tags certain words. And that tag then shows up in your Google search optimization. That's what SEO, search engine optimization, stands for. But yeah, it would be tagging certain words, and like you should tag Connecticut, out of the box, backyard party, like those. It shouldn't just be bar, horse, but like mocktail. Like it should be also for the people who don't even know that they're looking for you. What are your clients wanting? What are they going to leave with, right? How do you help them? What do you do or provide that's different than others, right? And then looking forward, and this is where our first exercise kind of started, tapping into where you're going, tapping into what the dream is, right? If the dream, like, what's the dream for you? Just out of curiosity, are you able to
well,
tap
I
into
actually
that?
just accomplished one of them. We have a second trailer now.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that was like a huge dream that I first started, but now I want to be a mobile bar coach and do all the other things.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like all the above, I know the chat.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah,
And like, I would say your experience is beyond mobile bars.
100%, yeah.
So like, that feels very limiting, mobile bar coach, even though I'm like, oh, it's for those who want to start an out of the box small business,
Yeah.
a creative business, right? So Look, and I love that for you. I love that for you. And we'll talk, but yeah, like fast forwarding, right? Again, this is like, I can't stress this enough, the importance of tapping into where you want to go. Because otherwise you're just running blind. And like, I used to hear this when I just started my business of like 5-year plan and I was like, oh my God, just kill me. Like, not my vibe, like not what I want to be doing. But there's a difference between like, you know, a P&L plan versus like, just what do I want it to feel like? Like, how do I want to spend my time? Do I still want to be, you know, like I had the dream, I want in 5 years, 10 years, I mean, it's a bigger vision of like, to be writing a lot and to just be speaking on stages. No surprise that that is what's happening. It's like, I was just at a workshop at Omega this past weekend, which is an amazing holistic retreat center in Rhinebeck, New York. And the teacher, Jen Pasteloff, who is an amazing author, memoirist, she said, you know, my life is not by accident, it's by design. The fact that I'm living this life, people are like, how did you do it? It's by design. And we forget that. We forget how powerful we are. We just do, right? Oh, I hope I get a client, right? We forget. But it's really throwing out that fishing pole far to know where you want to go, which is the key and the secret. So really getting clear on where you want to go. Is there a TED Talk? You know, a lot of my clients want the TED Talk, want the book deal, want the podcast, whatever that is. So going there. And then why? Which is also really important. Why are you here? Why do you do what you do? Why did you start doing what you did?
To give people financial freedom to pursue their dreams. No one wants to work forever.
And did you go through something in your own life that like sparked that desire for you?
Kind of following the path,
Hmm?
more following the path.
Following
There
that.
wasn't like one catalyst for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So oftentimes, you know, like we, you know, I'll use my own experience, for instance. I went to sleepaway camp my whole life. I always felt different and not part of and on the outside. Then 15 years later, 20 years later, wanted to create sleepaway camps for adults that they always felt accepted, that there was no cool girls or cool kids club. It was everyone felt part of. That's like a very obvious and clear direct line from what I went through as a child, but oftentimes we feel something. So, you know, I would ask you like, have you ever, and you don't need to answer this, but I would ask someone like you who is here for freedom. Well, did you have a period of time where you didn't feel free? Right? Was there ever this feeling of like not possibility, not freedom? And now you're here to do that. Felt limited and boxed in. Now you're leading these out of the box experiences, right? Like, what's the why that led you to here? And there's always a why that led you to here, right? I spoke to someone earlier today and it was, I'm here to bring joy. I'm guessing you had a lot of not joyful times. I'm here to bring light. Guessing there was some darkness. Right? What we're here to do and bring with whatever modality, whatever realty, finance, whatever it is, what we're here to bring, getting in touch with why us? What did we go through? What did we, whatever that is, whatever that story is that led us to here. And then finding all the common threads. So like looking through, and again, I take people through either me doing these notes or I take, you know, my clients are writing all these notes. And then looking through and seeing, all right, well, what are common words that come through? Freedom. What are common words that come through? Creative, out of the box. Because those are all like the touch points of the brand. Touch points of the brand, right? Kristen, when we worked together, what came through was all around loss, but also lighting up and lightening. It doesn't need to feel so heavy and it doesn't need any loss that you go through, right? And so that brand that we created held it fully, lighten the loss. You know, it's so who you are, literally and figuratively. And so, yeah, so going through all of the, I'm looking here, look, going through everything and like finding the common denominator, finding the words that keep coming out, freedom, worth, value. Usually it's something like that. A big one, not just realty. It's deeper than that. And then your positioning, and then we put it all together. So, and this is the elevator pitch of the elevator pitch workshop in the final few minutes. So we want to make sure when you are presenting yourself, right? We want to make sure people know the problem that you solve, the results that you provide, but getting in touch with the bigger thing. So I am the one who helps blank who. And that doesn't, when I say who, I don't mean 30 to 35-year-old socioeconomic status, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I mean. What are they going through? What are they wanting? Probably like me, you know, extra event producers who are wanting to always bring it to the next level, right? Like that's like getting really clear on who you're for, right? And what are they wanting? And what are they really wanting? So like, what's the problem they think they have? But what is the result, i.e. freedom, i.e. possibility, i.e. a lighter life? Jennifer on here, i.e. joy, right? What is the bigger thing? That makes sense? So I am the one who helps blank to blank so that they can. And once you have that, and again, it takes all the stuff that we walked through this whole time leads to this. You can't just start with this. You need to first know I am the one that what am I here to do? And what are my people actually going through? And through my work, through financial stuff, through realty stuff, through the horse bar, what are they able to? Horse bar. But through that, it's not just fun drinks. I could get fun drinks anywhere. It's not the fun drinks. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys all get that? It's not the realty. What do you do?
I have a nutritionist
Okay.
and I work in the midlife space with women over 40, 50 and beyond.
And what are they going through?
They're going through lots of life
Everything.
changes, yeah, but with hormonal changes, it really brings on a myriad of different experiences. Some people have more anxiety, some people, you know, are not sleeping well, their libido's low, they're putting on weight, they don't understand, they need muscle mass, they don't have it. It's just like a whole, there's so many
And
different.
what does that make them feel?
It makes them feel not confident. It affects their self-esteem. So my goal is to help them conquer these things through lifestyle modifications so they can feel confident. I like to say, you know, sexy and good in your own skin again, having that confidence.
I love when you said in your own skin, because when you were talking, what I was hearing in this little woo-woo psycho and psychic stuff is like this feeling of they've lost themselves. Like, where did I go? Where am I now? Like, they've lost themselves. And like that feeling leads to anxiety, that feeling leads to low confidence, that feeling leads to blah, blah, blah. The feeling arises because of weight gain, because of low libido, because of these things. But that feeling, and I could be wrong, I would want to spend a little more time with you, but like that feeling of like, I've lost who I am, not just physically. That's what I'm also getting. It's not just physically, it shows up physically. I can look at physically and say, oh, that's the reason, but it's more than physically.
It is. And also too, in my experience, if they go to their doctor, you know, female or male physician, they don't understand it. The doctors don't have the time and they don't do the right things, right testing, so that women can really understand what's going on with them. It's not necessarily here, take this anti-anxiety or antidepressants, but I still feel like crap, but you got me on medications now that I don't really want to be on when it's something else.
Yeah.
It's something else. And I've just really built I'd love to talk to you more about that. So a great program around that to help women see that and come out of it so they can really live authentically and feel good again, because they should. I mean, we're young and there's so many great things now that anti-aging and the way, and to keep ourselves healthy and youthful.
Oh my God, I mean, my mom is 75 and she is like, Chris knows.
But so many women don't know, they don't know it. So many don't know, they don't understand, and their doctors don't have time or just aren't versed and they don't have the knowledge.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's so important and like, it's the biggest growing market, like, period. So I have so many clients who are in the midlife industry. And that feeling of like, not, I just created a brand earlier this week around, it's not getting you back to who you were. It's like finding you now. It's like, it's not like, oh, what was I lost myself. Oh, right. But there's this new moment and like owning that. And
It's a great
finding
time of
that.
life. I'm 55. It's a great time of
Ah.
life. So it's, you know.
I mean, well, you're living by example.
So,
Yeah.
but what you said resonates with,
Yeah.
you have to show up as who you are.
Yeah.
And I try to show up like
Yeah,
that.
and I feel that, right, everyone in the room, the confidence and the color and the energy and the vibrance, right? And the like, I am here and the presence.
Mhm.
I feel that all from you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to read it.
Yes, okay.
You're not even-
So wait, the last thing I'll say, okay. I have this free thing, download it. Again, we'll send this out, but download it. It's a free brand checklist. It's a lot of really, really good information. I'm also happy to open up my calendar to anyone who is interested in like going deeper with this brand, with their brands. And I'll send out the Calendly link. I'll share it with y'all right now, actually. The Calendly link, so you can all have a free 30 minutes with me.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I'm very, very good. You see what I can do. Wait till I hone in on the brands. Let me stop share. All right. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Now I'm just seeing everyone on here for the first time. All right. So hi, Jennifer, who I kept referencing this whole time. So first off, I'm gonna put my Calendly link in the thing so you guys can book a session with me, but I'd love to hear any questions I can take for the next 5 minutes and then.
Or with regulated industry, like you may have some presentation compliance with exercises.
I worked in pharma, so yes, I had a whole career in working in compliance and regulatory. So yeah, that was where I got my whole start, and every word that we use had to be passed through regulatory for approval. But even now, it's interesting that you asked, I'm working with someone in the sex therapy industry. And there's a lot, sex therapy and intervention, she owns a clinic, and there's a lot of restriction around what you can say online as it relates to working in the sex therapy, like horrifying. So yes, great. I have a lot of experience. Yeah.
So you can book a calendar.
Yeah, okay, so Calendly, everyone, Calendly.com/Michelle Garside. Christine, you already know it.
I do.
MICHELEGARSIDE. And book a free call with me. Calendly, here. I'll write it out here. Does anyone else have any questions that I can answer like right here and right now before?
I have a question. So most of my inquiries and responses are done via email. So like, what do you, and I try to work on calling them because I'm a phone person, but how do you feel like, is it having your elevator pitch in your email? Like, what are your thoughts behind that?
Because you don't want to get on consult calls.
No, it's just, this is what's been working. Like, I'm fully booked. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And at first,
Time to increase your prices.
yes, I just did that. But I come from a corporate background where we want to sell all the time, like all the time.
Yeah.
So I thought that's how this business was gonna be run. And then they're just signing my contract and putting a deposit, and I'm not even talking to them,
Amazing.
which is great. But I just feel like I'm missing like that piece of, I don't know. Maybe I'm not, maybe it's fine, but
You mean like it's something's working and you're looking for what's wrong?
yeah, I guess.
Do you do that elsewhere?
Probably. The overthinker in me, I guess.
No, I mean, unless you're getting.
Like I already from this conversation recreated like the tagline of my like first email, so thank you. Going back to like the experience, like why we can help you create the experience at your house or your
Yeah.
wedding or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm answering my question.
But if people are coming and booking and paying
Yes.
and the only reason I would say, "Er," to put your hand up is if it's the wrong, it's people that you hate. And you're like, yeah. I'm gonna just pass that around. But if you're liking the people who are coming and they're like, yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Keep doing it.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
All right, any questions on here? Let me see. No, a lot of things. I'm based in Easton, Connecticut.
Easton, okay.
Yeah, not too far, Easton,
No.
beautiful farmland.
Feel like what's your.
But yeah,
Party.
I love doing this. I love talking to people. Everyone reach out to me. Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a.
You know, blue is, I think the biggest.
All right, bye y'all.